Hello, my impatience. It is I, Andrew the Android Koloski here, and I am live, and I'm ready to perform, or maybe not perform, but I'm ready to talk to all of you. How art thou? How are you doing? How are things going with you? So, first off, I'm going to start off by sharing artwork that I created on Thursday, one I created today, and my mother's green bunny. Dave says you should be nice to Poppy. Yeah, we'll get to that in a moment. I just want to go over the artwork before everything. Okay. So the first one. This one's called Spotlight Syndrome. When I'm at the gym, I feel like everybody's focused on me. They ask, what's wrong with him? Other people say, he's so crazy. I feel like I'm the center of...
Christine Moore.
I feel like I'm the center of attention and I want to scream, leave me alone. You know, stop harassing me. I think my mother's calling, so... And my phone's on ring. So the next one... I think she's calling because I called her. I was going to ask her if she had any food to eat, but there's really nothing to talk about. So the next one, it's called The Crazy Gym. This is me from 2005 to 2011. The gym is open 24/7. You see, I did 20 miles, 160 minutes. I say, my leg hurts, but I only need to do 10 more miles. They say, wow, that kid is crazy. Ha, 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 ha. He might die, and I'm running on the treadmill. So this is obviously my running years when I had an eating disorder, and I was exercising myself into the ground. The last one is my mother's green bunny. Otto Greenberg, who's a 30-year-old mental patient. The pizza man says, you will work as a 38-year-old pizza delivery boy. And he goes to a cougar's home, and she says, I have no money for the pizza. Otto says, I can find other methods of payment, and he sleeps with the cougar. And in the final panel, the pizza man says, you are fired. You can't sleep with the customers. And that's basically the artwork. You know, Shane says, great storytelling. Thank you, Shane. Thank you, Shane. Thank you. So that's the artwork that was created today. And somebody says, answer the phone. Call your mother back. I don't. She probably doesn't even want to say anything. We've talked like a million times today. I mean, we've talked like a million times already, so there's no need to talk a million and one times. And if there really is an emergency, she's right next door. She can bang on my door or call me again. If she starts calling me again, I'll know there's a problem. I don't think there's a problem. I think she probably just says, do you want eggplant from Uncle Giuseppe's? You know, that's probably what it's going to be. And I'm going to say, no, I don't want eggplant from Uncle Giuseppe's. And that's basically what it's going to be. Somebody says, are there any implicit meanings in your artwork, or is it just surface level? Like, what do you mean? What do you mean by that, Shane? Like, give me an example, and I'll like, what do you mean by an implicit meaning? I think, you know, unfortunately for me, I mean, some things I guess could be a metaphor, but unfortunately for me, I'm pretty literal. I pretty much, you know, just say things, you know, like, my mother saying, do you want vegetables with your dinner? And, you know, the doctor saying that's predicate logic. That's basically as literal as it gets, you know? I mean, there's no, it's basically, that's it. And there's really nothing going on besides that. It's just, I mean, I guess there could be. I mean, I've done so much artwork. I guess there could be examples of hidden meanings in the art and symbolism, but usually it's pretty much just a mental health related drawing or a comedic related drawing or something to that effect. Um, you know. All right. So, I mean, I often feel like people, through social media artwork, through social media posts, and so on, can be referencing me, in some ways. Like, do you ever feel like, posts by friends, family, acquaintances, and even your enemies can be a reference to you in some way? They can be, talking about you in a metaphorical kind of way. And you want to say to these people, leave me alone. I'm not a celebrity. Stop stalking me. Stop referencing me. Stop with your why do they cyber stalk me, reference me? Why are they so obsessed with me? It doesn't really make any sense. All right, I keep getting ding dongs on my phone. People are my phone's like really ringing and ringing tonight. I don't know what's going on here, but and some people say, nobody's referencing you. On the contrary, nobody cares about you. These are ideas of reference delusions. It's predicate logic. There's no talking in code. There's no reference to you. The opposite is true, It's all as it appears to be on the surface. Some people can, yeah, I know this is called an ideas of reference delusion, something that's vague and non-specific. Like what would the motivation of these friends, family members, acquaintances, and even my enemies, what would their motivation be to reference me through social media posts and so on? Like what would their motivation be to reference me unless they're like stalking me and they're obsessed with me and they're bullying me? What would their motivation be to do this, covert narcissistic rage baiting? Like why are they obsessed with sabotaging and stalking me? Like, who cares? I'm a disabled adult child at 38 years old with less than $1,000 to his name. Like, really, what's the motivation to sabotage me? Unless they just get off from doing it, unless they find it funny, unless they enjoy my pain and suffering. Somebody says, "Is Man Crush Ed's family still stalking you?" That's who I'm referring to here. That's obviously who I think is stalking and sabotaging and spreading false narratives about me. That's who I think is doing it. To be quite frank here, I think there's a group of gang stalkers who just frankly don't like me. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they do like me. Maybe they like me very much. Somebody says, "Do you have any evidence that Man Crush Ed?" No, I'm just coming to feelings of conviction about what I suspect is true. I do not have any evidence that confirms and corroborates Man Crush Ed and his family and friends or gang stalking and cyberbullying me. I do not have any evidence of that. at least, you know, I just suspect it. I assume it, but there's no evidence confirming and corroborating that, you know. So, you know, on that note, just you can't. I mean, if you can't. Somebody says just catch it, check it, change it, and realize it's ideas of reference delusions. It's predicate logic. You know, they're not metaphorically talking in code. They're not referencing me. They're not cyberbullying me. They're not gang stalking me. The opposite is true. These are vague posts that have no reference or no acknowledgement to me. Somebody says, focus on facts, and that way you know what's real. Yeah, feelings are not facts. You know, you might feel like they're referencing you. You might feel like they're messing with your mind. You might feel like they're cyberbullying you, but that's not a fact, you know? You know, that's not a fact. That's just what you suspect is true. So feelings are not facts, as they say. And even if, hypothetically speaking, they are talking in code, they are talking metaphorically, they are, you know, referencing me, who cares? I haven't talked to them in like 15 fucking years. You know, like who gives a shit? If they're still obsessed with me 15 years later, if my name is on their mind, I must be doing something right. Correct? You know, like ultimately, if they're referencing me and cyberbullying me and making up narratives about me, who gives a shit? Who cares? You know, let them talk about me. Let them reference me. Hypothetically speaking, you know, I feel like, you know, because when people talk about, you know, them, nobody listens, nobody pays attention, nobody finds it interesting. So, I mean, in a way, I'm kind of like a celebrity to them. I'm kind of like a rock star to them, you know, assuming, you know, they are referencing me. But like they say, feelings are not facts. You know, I mean, to quote that song, you know, you got to just shake it off and, you know, not really worry what the haters and the players and all those people are going to do. I mean, I'm not a celebrity. I have less than $1,000 to my name. You know, I'm an unknown. I'm a nobody. Hopefully someday I do make money, but you know, ultimately you're gonna get people that don't like you. You're gonna get haters. You know, you're gonna get people who want to sabotage you and ruin your reputation. You're gonna get people who want to make false narratives about you and are obsessed with you and stalk you. If you want to put yourself in the limelight, that's what you're gonna get. You know, and you know, it's. I mean, not everybody's gonna like you. You know, and that's just life. You know, Crazy Carl says, like Britney Spears, leave Andrew alone. Stop putting the spotlight on him. Stop being obsessed with him. Leave Andrew alone, you know. Somebody says, can we get a vocal cover of Shake It Off? And the play is gonna play, and the hate is gonna hate. I'm just gonna shake it off, hoo hoo hoo. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, speaking of Taylor Swift, some people say her new album isn't. I mean, it sold very well. I mean, obviously she has name recognition, but they say her new album isn't too great. Whatever, I don't know. That was at least what the review said. Somebody says, let's talk about Poppy. Let's talk about your father. What about Poppy? What about him? I just talked to him. We did make up. We did apologize. We kind of had an unpleasant lunch, but we're back on speaking good terms. I mean, I don't know. So he says, "What do you think the hottest dog breed is? What do you mean by hottest dog breed? We have a Yorkie. He's fuck you. Yeah, he was up. Somebody says, do you ever, I think my father knows exactly what he's saying and doing. He narcissistically baits me. He tries to, I'm not bullying him. I think he knows exactly what he's doing. I can't get along with him. I just can't get along with him. I just can't get along with my father. And I hope he gets his cancer into remission. I'm not going to cut him out of my life entirely. He is my father. But we just cannot get along. We just can't get along, and he's just as to blame as I am, frankly. The thing is, I'm setting boundaries now. I'm sticking up for myself. I'm not letting him bully me, and he wants to just make fun of me and bully me, and now I just call him out on it, basically. Honestly, I just think ultimately, the best thing to do is, meet friends, get independent, distance myself, and see him on holidays and stuff. And, hopefully he gets his cancer into remission. Hopefully he gets healthy, but I just can't get along with him. I have met some friends in the art class at NAMI and so on, and I'm going to be seeing some friends, and hopefully things start to improve, So he says, have you ever tried smoking meats, like a pork shoulder or a brisket? No, I really haven't cooked. I really haven't done anything in my life. I've just basically sat in my room. I really haven't done much. So if the answer to your question is, have I done a lot in my life? Not really. Not really. I'm a 38-year-old person who basically has yet to fly from his mother's nest and do hardly anything. So he says, that's a nice shirt. Thank you. Thank you. I think it's Club Room, the Club Room collection. Somebody says, maybe clean your bathroom. Yeah, that's a good idea. Pizza pasta. That's a good idea. All right. So I don't have a whole lot much more to talk about here. Any last questions or? I guess try to make up with my father before he passes away. Try to not have regrets. I mean, is the relationship perfect? No, but ultimately, he's my father, and I want to say I've done the right thing in the end, and say, all right, not look back and say, I regret, anything, and I think ultimately, but like I can't get along with him. It's just I just can't get along with him though. It's not picking on old folks, guys. He narcissistically rage baits me. He knows exactly what he's doing. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's trying to get under my skin. He knows exactly what he's doing. It's just that I'm setting boundaries now and I'm sticking up for myself. I understand that he's a cancer patient, and I'm not saying I wish that on him. In fact, I hope he gets healthy. I hope he's around for years to come. I'm speaking about our relationship for the past 38 years. Obviously, he doesn't deserve a terrible, life-threatening diagnosis. Dave says I'm bullying. I'm not bullying the old folks. I just can't get along with it. You don't know the relationship, Dave. I mean, you can say I'm bullying the old folks, but it's not true. He's bullying me. It's just a relationship where we just don't get along. We just don't get along anymore. Believe what you want to. It just doesn't matter. We just don't get along anymore. You know, I mean, the relationship as it once was is basically over. But I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want to have regrets though. So hopefully we're on good terms, relatively speaking, when he passes away. But yeah, I went into this lunch with him with the best of intentions to get along, and it was just a nightmare. It's just. Somebody says, "Have I ever fought a man?" No, I've never. Well, I've gotten beat up in high school. I've never. I haven't really fought or got into fights with anybody. Really, no, not really. I've kind of lived like a pacifist, non-physical kind of life, you know. Somebody says, "Do you know what?" Let's Google this person's word. Somebody says, "Do you know what misophonia is?" It's a condition where specific sounds, intense negative emotional reactions such as anger, annoyance, and disgust. Do you think you might have that? I don't know. I mean, that's interesting. That's an interesting question. I've never been diagnosed as having that. Um, I mean, it's certainly a possibility. It's certainly a possibility. All right, guys. Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I think I'm going to get going here. Do you have any questions? I mean, everybody wants to portray me as the problematic one. They want to portray me as, but I'm not. My father knows exactly what he's doing. He's narcissistically rage baiting me. My mother does the same shit. Whatever narrative you want to believe, that's fine, but you're wrong. Um, you know, um, and you know, you're wrong. They're without a doubt sadists who narcissistically rage bait me and know exactly what they're doing. You're wrong, Dave. Sorry. They're the covert narcissists. They're the monsters behind the mask. You're just wrong. Believe what you want to. Believe your intellectually lazy narratives. It's easy to say, "Oh, I'm the monster behind the mask," but I'm not. Somebody says, maybe you're really sexually frustrated. I know Dr. Garrett said many years ago, when I accused my mother, father, and stepfather of getting off sexually to my pain and suffering, he said, "You really are suffering, and when you feel the constraints of your life, you blame them by bringing charges of sexual perversity. You are suffering, but your parents aren't fiends." So that's what he said. So maybe I project my frustrations onto my parents. Somebody says you have no evidence of the things you accuse them of. I feel like they're lying. Somebody says you're detached from reality and everyone can see that but you. That's the hidden reality. All right, if you say so. Fair enough, as they say. I'm not detached. I'm absolutely right. Somebody says, what is reality anyway? We're talking philosophically here. What is reality? Who knows? Who the hell knows what reality is? All right, guys, I think I'm going to get going. Thanks for watching. Adios, guys. Peace out.